Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here. I'm today making quite a bit of a news update here, considering a lot has come up today that's Toonami related in some way. First things first, we finally got the ratings from last Saturday. They've been 2 days late here because Showbuzz Daily, who usually does like thorough updates, including mentioning the reruns, didn't mention Toonami this week. I guess because of the fact there are no new shows on Toonami this week. Maybe that changes next week, but Programming Insider has come through. And here are the numbers from the week. As you can see here, My Hero Academia starts off at 0.23, Paranoia Agent for 0.20, Mob Psycho for 0.19, Black Clover 0.20, the first rerun of Ball Masters at 0.20, the second rerun of Ball Masters at 0.19, and Naruto Shippuden at 0.18. Overall, I have to say this was actually kind of a good week for Toonami again. It starts with a small drop from My Hero Academia from a 0.25 to 0.23. But again, it's a rerun. What'd you expect? And then afterwards, what we see is this bizarre showing of stability. Like, there was a period last year where all the shows would kind of be holding steady in the low to mid 0.2s. But debatably, that was during the best period Toonami had of the late 2010s. And we're seeing something similar to it here, albeit with lower numbers. Like, first off, like you have a total range of the target demographic 18 to 49 viewers. It ranges within only 24,000 from the start of the block to the end of the block, and from Paranoia Agent through the end of Ball Masters, at no point do we have a swing of greater than 18,000 from show to show. That's just stable right there. And although Toonami would probably like that stability to happen at a higher number, at least it means it's not like last week where Ball Masters completely tanked the block at like barely getting a 0.1. But again, another notable thing, Black Clover built this week. That's a good thing for it. I believe it's the second, maybe the third time it's built on Mob Psycho. Again, Black Clover showing its strength at this point in the block. A show that, in a rarity for Toonami, has actually seemed to grow stronger as time has gone on. And I still think when My Hero Academia ends in a couple weeks, it should be the show to lead off the block. It's just that strong. And again, other than that, Ball Master is surprisingly doing well, getting like a 0.7, 0.07, 0.08 better than it did last week. A big increase from week to week. And Shippuden 0.18, pretty good for 2:30 in the morning, though. So overall, say this is something of a good week this week. Although, in theory, it should get even better next week as we get a new episode of My Hero Academia, episode 87. And then it was just confirmed earlier today that episode 88 will air the following week on Toonami, even though it's already been available, already been known that Funimation has this episode. And that just really says that two things are going to happen. Either A, we get some type of rerun marathon on July 4th, since Saturday this year, July 4th this year is on a Saturday, so it's going to be very tempting for Toonami to put a marathon there. Or we have to make a decision by July 4th about what's going to air on that date, what My Hero Academia's replacement is going to be. I'm personally still leaning towards them just simply rerunning Season 4. It's the simplest option, and I can presume that their license to air the dub of My Hero Academia is still going on for a while after this. And also, I'm thinking about like other things that could happen with the block, with the fact that they're very clearly trying to avoid spending money. Whatever money they have is tied up in Uzumaki, which is production hell right now. You really just have to look at what they have in their catalog. And I'm looking at their catalog. I don't see a single show here that you could say, yeah, this can lead off a block. I get one. And other than, say, going back to the Dragon Ball well, which I could see Toonami doing, but part of me thinks they're just going to simply rerun Season 4 of My Hero Academia. And yeah, that's just stated Toonami right now. Like, you could piece together a couple good weeks in a row and get a good piece of news here and there, but overall the picture just looks very, very bleak for the block, especially considering how dubbing studios are closed and what dubbing is going on is very slow and piecemeal. Talking about dubbing, Black Clover episode 126 has been announced to be finished by Funimation after seemingly like a billion weeks. Like, I don't know how many weeks it's been. It's been a while since 125 came out. At least it seems that way. And yeah, Funimation announced that they're going to be coming out on Tuesday, which I presume means next Tuesday, as in 5 days from now. And only other notable episode they have finished is episode 7 of the second season of Fruit Basket. At least it's the only other anime I recognize out of these that are coming out. But nonetheless, something of good news. That means Black Clover's dilemma gets pushed back one more week into the future, so that gives a little bit of breathing room towards Toonami. However, some more good news regarding Black Clover has occurred, and that is the fact that it has been announced that the sub will be restarting and returning on July 7th in Japan, of course. Which means, because one of the big issues we had is that even if Funimation was able to speed up and do Black Clover episodes, there was a wall in terms of the fact that after episode, I believe, 132, I'm not exact sure on that number, that and had stopped making the show, and that if Funimation had the ability to, we weren't going to get more episodes because they're known and done in Japan. However, that is seeming to change. It'll be interesting to see at which rate the episodes are coming out. I don't see anything here to indicate it won't be coming out weekly like a normal show. And if that's the case, then crisis is averted, at least in Japan's end. Again, the dubbing is going to have to be on Funimation's hands, and considering the debacle they've had with My Hero Academia, that might still be a problem. I believe we're still like 3 or 4 episodes. I don't know the exact number. I believe we're like 3 or so episodes behind the dub right now on Toonami. So again, I still expect at some point they're gonna hit the end of episodes with Funimation not being able to make new ones. So a tough decision will have to be made there. They're probably gonna do what they did with My Hero Academia and simply like replay the last episodes to buy time. And again, that's just something new there. Let's see what else. There's some other news thing. You know what? The other news thing I think was just me simply noting that for some reason Toonami decided to make an announcement on Facebook about specifically like, oh yeah, the episode of My Hero Academia that's already finished, and we have the episode before it on the block that week. Yeah, we're gonna have that episode the following week, which is kind of like saying that if you have like a show, like let's say The Simpsons has like a bunch of episodes ready to air, and they air an episode, and then they come out with like a big press release like a week, 2-3 days later saying, breaking news, there will be another new episode next week. It just seems so stupid and redundant to me. But nonetheless, that's just how Tommy's going. Tommy's trying to build up hype for the end of the season, because once the season ends, things are going to get really sad around here. Because, I mean, just right now, it's just, there's nothing really propping up the block other than My Hero Academia. And with something that's getting like a midpoint to consistency, not on the block, I don't see anything on the block by itself anchoring the block getting above a 0.2 at all. Paranoia Agent, no. Paranoia Agent's towards the end and it's very serialized. That's not going to happen. Mob Psycho Season 1, it's old, but not old enough like Paranoia Agent where it has some degree of like classic appeal. And plus, I don't think Toonami's ever going to get Season 2 of Mob Psycho at this point. And then again, they're not going to afford they can't afford anything else, so they're not getting something they don't already have the rights to. So like some people have noticed said like, what about Sailor Moon? What about Inuyasha? Toonami doesn't have the rights to those shows. They have to get them, I believe, in both cases from Viz Media, which, again, I don't think Toonami can afford it at this point. And that's the scary thing, because what money Toonami has, they have tied up in Uzumaki and Blade Runner, which we've gotten very little actual information about. Furthest we got is that, Uzumaki, we got some storyboards from the first episode, which storyboarding is actually a pretty early step in animation, so that's not a promising sign. And again, like I said, with dubbing studios being the state they are now, I don't think we're going to have Uzumaki by October, And I think you could almost safely say that's a 2021 anime now. Blade Runner, it's hard to put an exact date on because it's already said to be sometime in 2021. We have no idea where they are. All we got is Jason DeMarco at one point saying, oh, the music's going on great, which is really a nothing burger of a statement at all. But nonetheless, that's the state of Toonami right now. The overall news the last day or so has actually been generally positive for Toonami. Again, with the very uncertain state of events as we have right now, I'm not exactly sure that this string of good news is going to really continue. What are your guys' opinions on these news today? Leave your comment down below. I love reading your opinions down below. If you like this content, if you want me to keep rambling about Toonami more, please like, please subscribe, and hit that notification button. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.